Just about 3 years ago, I took delivery of the world's best-selling car. This is my Model Y long range. I've had it for just about 3 years, and I thought now would be time to sort of do a good sort of in-depth review on how my experience has been, because this one is a bit of a doozy with a lot of twists and turns. I've got a lot of good experiences with this vehicle. I've got some problems, some mistakes, some regrets. I've discovered some interesting Model Y exclusive hidden features, and especially with the Model Y Juniper refresh on the horizon and everything that's about to change with this vehicle, I thought now would be a great time to sort of go over my wild journey with the Model Y. So let me tell you, 3 years later, the true cost of this vehicle, every penny I've sunken into this thing, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything you need to know. And if you own a Model Y, please watch this video and let me know if I'm right or wrong, because I feel like I've got a couple of hot takes here that undoubtedly are going to be a little controversial. So let's jump in. All right, so this story begins back in 2022 when I got this vehicle. And when I got my Model Y, it was during the middle of a global pandemic, so things were very weird. I had one of those no contact deliveries, so I didn't interact with anybody at Tesla at all. I went out, did my own self-inspection, did the whole, app walkthrough and just drove away without speaking to anybody, which was kind of nice. But at the same time, it was also around the end of a quarter where I've talked about before can either be a good thing or a bad thing. Typically around the end of the quarter, end of the year, like where we are right now, Tesla is incentivized to move as many vehicles as possible. So there's a lot of deals and discounts to be had. But also it can be like a running around with your hair on fire when trying to deal with Tesla. I'll link my full sort of in-depth experience down below, a video where I went back and forth with Tesla and had screenshots and stuff like that. But from what I remember, my delivery was delayed like 4 or 5 separate times for various reasons. It got out of the factory late, there were truck issues, so on and so forth. If you've dealt with Tesla delivery, you know sometimes it can be very hit or miss. And I just had a lot going on in my life. I had a newborn baby and just a lot of moving pieces. But after like 5 different times and a couple of weeks of delay, I finally got this Model Y. And from, love at first sight here, I love this vehicle, love this configuration. And, from the beginning, it's just been truly a phenomenal vehicle. And I can tell you right off the bat that my experience with the Model Y has been overwhelmingly positive. I mean, there's a reason why the Model Y is the world's best-selling car. It is a phenomenal car that I think offers so much, and I'll get to more of that in a moment. But right off the bat, I will tell you one of the regrets I've talked about before that I really do have with this vehicle is that I didn't go with the performance version. A couple of reasons for that. One of them was price, which I'll talk about in a moment. I didn't think I'd really use the performance accoutrements or the speed or anything, but I always just regretted not having those uber turbine wheels and the extra power and the red brake calipers. Not as big of a difference on the Model Y performance side as you'd get now with the Model 3 performance, but I really do still regret not going with the performance version. But the long-range Model Y has still been fantastic. I opted for the multi-coat red paint. I went with the larger 20-inch wheels, not the uber turbine, but sort of the long-range wheels, and then the black interior. No other extras besides that. Try to keep things pretty basic. Now, the next thing we've got to talk about is price, because I think this reframes my experience with the Model Y, and I know many of you out there watching as well have a similar experience, because I got this vehicle not only at the height of the pandemic and chip shortages and stuff like that, but this was before big MSRP discounts. There was no federal tax credit. There really wasn't any incentive or discount to speak of, which in retrospect just makes this seem crazy. So I just went on the Tesla website and configured the exact same vehicle I've got. So long range spec, ultra red, which I think looks better than the multi-coat red, the larger 20-inch induction wheels, black interior, 5-seat, yada, yada, yada. Price comes out to $53,630 with taxes and fees and all that. And then you got a minus $7,500 for the federal tax credit. So rough math here, you're looking at, what is that, like 46-ish, 47, so under $50,000. The price I paid for my Model Y, again, at the height of all this stuff, was closer to $65,000. So we're talking significantly more expensive for in a lot of ways, a worse car when you compare to what you can get the Model Y for these days with the refinements Tesla has made. So long story short, as I've been sort of talking about over and over again on this channel, there has never been a better time to buy a Model Y and really any Tesla than right now. Great deals, great discounts, great incentives, federal tax credit, all of that is well and good. I love finding Easter eggs inside of Teslas and finding cool accessories, and I just sort of love finding things that many Tesla owners don't know exist. These are made by the fine folks over at Mini REVs. They make these really high quality miniature Tesla models that just have impeccable build quality and also impeccable detail inside. Check out what Mini REVs has to offer at the link on screen or right down below. All right, but now that I've aired that grievance with the price, which I know we can all debate in the comments down below, let me talk about my actual experience. Couple of things I've really loved about the Model Y. The first is that coming from the Model 3, there were a few things that stood out to me immediately. One is that you just do get more space. Not only do you get more physical space, like according to tech specs and a spec sheet, but the car just feels more airy. I feel like I had more room. You have more sort of clearance off the ground, so you sit higher up on the road. I really did enjoy that. Having that full hatchback experience was really nice. And when I got this vehicle, like I mentioned a moment ago, it was like days after my daughter was born. So having that extra cargo capacity for strollers and diaper bags and bottles and toys and all that stuff, and the car seat obviously was just really, really nice. A couple of times we have taken my wife's Model 3 out with the baby, and you know, it's not bad, it's not undoable, but Model Y is just way more convenient, way easier to load things in and out of, and just easier to use as a family car rather than the sedan life of the Model 3. So in terms of like a family car and being practical, Model Y has been incredible, and I just love all the room and flexibility you get with that vehicle. The other thing I've really loved about the Model Y over the last couple of years, and what it has proven over and over again, is that, especially these days, it delivers on the trifecta. It is a really great amount of range and performance, a really good value, and a lot of great technology. In terms of range, I don't really remember what the EPA range of my model was, but it's around or a little over 300 miles, which has just been fine. It's the long-range dual-motor variant. I've never had any issues. I did some road trips in this thing, never had a problem. It was plenty of range for what I needed to do, and I could always charge at home with no problem. Obviously, like I mentioned, I wish I could have went with the performance version because I didn't have the super fast 0 to 60 time, but of course, it was still a ton of fun to drive. It's still peppy. It's still fast. It's got that oomph and that instant acceleration and torque. That has been nice. And the technology has just been fantastic. Obviously, you've got that giant screen inside to control all the different variables inside the vehicle. You've got the cameras, you've got autopilot, you've got full self-driving. And that's one of the things I really love as well, is that even though, you know, technology changes rapidly and this is a 3-year-old vehicle, it still has all the full self-driving features. I can do all the full self-driving stuff. I've got actual smart summon, Sentry mode, all the wonderful Tesla tech there works, and it's just a ton of fun. And even though the car's 3 years old, it just continues to get better and better and better with frequent software updates. And since I've gotten the vehicle, I've gotten way more media sources. I've gotten remote Sentry mode control. I've gotten full self-driving features. There's a bunch of stuff that's been added to the car totally for free, just over the air like that, thanks to the power of Tesla's, you know, fantastic engineering team and their consistent software updates. Now, you all have heard me air my grievances with Tesla and things that they do that I do not like, but I want to take a moment in this video to not only air my continued grievances with Tesla, but really the wider automotive accessory space as a whole, because as I did some testing for this segment of the video, I was very surprised. Thanks to the folks over at 3W Liners who I've worked with in the past. They make some great all-weather liners for a bunch of cars out there, including every single Tesla model. They gave me a challenge for this video to put their mats head-to-head with a couple of other options on the market. So what I decided to do was go with a couple I think that many of you have probably tested. One would be the standard sort of all-weather mats from Tesla, sort of just the basic stuff you'd order. And the other would be sort of at, again, I think a default option for many, some options over from the folks at WeatherTech. If you want full protection for your run-of-the-mill Model 3, the set I bought here was nearly $700. Tesla, of course, has got their own first-party option, but at over $200, it's a little lacking because the only pieces you're getting are for the driver's side, passenger side. Then you've got 3W Liners, who's offering the same amount of coverage as WeatherTech, which is more than Tesla offers because you're getting protection for the trunk, the frunk, and the sub-trunk for under $200, which is a really, really good deal, and I can save you even more money if you go through my special link down below. In terms of design, here you can sort of see the three differences you've got. You've got Tesla's option, which is sort of kind of plain Jane, just very standard for what you're getting. You've got 3W Liners, which I think does a great job at a couple of things. One is that I think the mats themselves look good, but you can also put sort of this carpeted accent on top, which I think even sort of elevates things a little bit more. Love the way it complements the Tesla interior. Obviously, you can take it off if you don't like it, but that is a nice option. And then with WeatherTech, it's very much more of an industrial, a little bit more of a bulky look for my taste, but very much more all about sort of utilitarianism and durability. That's sort of the look you're getting with WeatherTech. In terms of build quality, this is what you're getting from Tesla. Looks pretty thin and lightweight, but actually there is some good weight to this. This is made of a TPE material and with a custom design from Tesla's design team on the front and back. That's what it looks like, pretty good weight. With 3W Liners, of course, I've got the carpeted insert, but also here's just what the mat looks like itself. Again, also made from a very durable TP material, very nice weight to it. And you can see what this looks like. It's flexible, but also rigid to make sure it can sort of get in there and fit as best as possible. And then last up, this is the mat from WeatherTech. I was surprised, honestly, this is the lightest of the bunch, made from a proprietary material, not TPE. You can see what the front and back looks like. Rigid, good weight, but definitely lighter than the other mats for some interesting reason. In terms of fit and finish, I'll give you a real quick look here. First up is the mat from 3W Liners. As you can see, I've got the carpet topper here installed, though I could easily take this off. This just clicks in really securely, which I like. A little bit of force there. Next up for a little movement test here, I'm gonna move my feet around just so you can see if there's any movement here on these mats. First up, I've got 3W Liners. Then here are the all-weather mats from Tesla. You can see as I move my feet around if there's any movement here. And then finally, this is the solution from WeatherTech. So this is the Tesla mat. As you can see, you've got a couple of little circular sort of carpet patches there to stick into the bottom there. You sort of have this rigid material to also keep it from slipping around. This is the WeatherTech mat, which honestly, there's not a whole lot here, and I was surprised by that. You do have a couple of little carpet circular things like what you've got with Tesla, but you don't have much in terms of sort of material for traction. You do have this, so this is fairly sort of just empty up there. And then last, we've got the 3W Liner set, which is going to have kind of a different combination of different materials. You've got, again, sort of something to sort of keep it affixed to the floor, but also a different sort of variation of sort of these smaller little spikes, and then also this sort of more quadrant ridge material down here to keep it from sliding around. Something else worth mentioning that in terms of cleaning, all of these are pretty easy to clean, just a little bit of water, and you can get these all cleaned off. All of these are all weather. They are dirt, dust, snow, mud resistant. You can see how well each of them is going to sort of retain the water from spilling out into other areas of your car. But washing these down, super, super easy. You can wipe them down, let them dry, and look at that. They are good to go. Also, in terms of after-purchase sort of things to consider, with Tesla, there is no warranty or anything. It's just you buy it and that's sort of it. With WeatherTech, you do get a lifetime warranty. And then with 3W Liners, you're getting a lifetime warranty and a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you try it for a couple of weeks. If you don't like it, you can return it and get your money back if you're not 100% satisfied. This was a very eye-opening experience. I've never shied away from investing into good accessories with your vehicle. Not a bad way to go. I recommend it all the time, but I do think all of us want to be prudent and smart with our decisions and realize we want good coverage, protection, but also we don't want to break the bank. And I think 3W Lenders does a great job with their offerings. I'm a big fan of 3W Lenders. It's the mats I got in my Teslas. I love them. I know you guys are going to love them as well. So if you want to learn more, check them out for yourself today. Hit the link down below to check them out for yourself today. Give your Tesla a much-needed upgrade. And also, check out all they've got to offer for all the different vehicles. Again, I appreciate working with them. I think they're great to work with. I think they make great products. And now even more, my eyes have been opened to the absurd prices people are paying for all-weather liners. So don't make a mistake. Check out 3W Liners. Of course, link of course, as I mentioned, right down below in the description. Check it out today. I also like that the Model Y offers a consistent experience and a comfortable interior. So like I mentioned, great technology, great range, performance, stuff like that. I do appreciate the extra space for cargo and passengers, and it was very comfortable. You got that vegan leather interior, you've got a good HVAC system, you've got a really nice large 15-inch touchscreen, a good sound system. I really have no complaints. I mean, it just has been a phenomenal car with tons of tech, and it's been a pleasure to drive, not just for me, but for my wife as well. She has absolutely loved driving the Model Y. She has thoroughly enjoyed her time with it. And then my mom as well got a Model Y. She actually got a Model Y before I did, and she has absolutely fallen in love with it. The best car she's ever owned. Again, there's just a reason why the Model Y is so universally loved and admired, because it's just sort of hitting the sweet spot in all the right ways. Great tech, great performance, great packages, great price. You're getting so much for the money, especially these days, that there's really not a whole lot to dislike. There's just a lot to love with Model Y. And I'll say that for me, during my entire ownership experience, there's really only been two big issues over the last 2 years that have sort of been irking me. One of them is that I was right on the cutoff when I got my vehicle between the AMD Ryzen processor and the Intel processor, so I just happened to get my vehicle before they started switching it over, which at the time didn't seem like a big deal, but it became a really big deal. And there are features these days that you just can't get on the Intel Atom processor vehicles, and I'll show you a side-by-side video here. The AMD Ryzen processor is just significantly faster with everything than the Intel processor. Now, is that a deal breaker? Is that a reason to sell your car and go with something else? No, I don't think so. It's still totally usable and fine, but on all the other Teslas I've got with the AMD Ryzen chip, it's significantly faster. It's got more features. It's got the new menu system as well, with the visual controls that you don't get on the Intel processor. That is just one of those bummers that has been unfortunate. I'm also on hardware 3 and not hardware 4, but that happened a couple of months later. That's not as much of a big deal to me as the Ryzen processor thing, because that I kick myself for, and I know others will agree. Just sort of a bummer on the features we missed out on when Tesla made that transition. And then really in terms of maintenance or problems, I didn't really have any problems. I think I had to get one tire replaced because I got a nail in a tire that cost me a couple $100. That was about the extent of the maintenance I've done on the vehicle. I also do have one part of the vehicle that I dropped my charger on that I haven't gotten fixed yet, so stay tuned to know how much that's going to cost me, but that is still an issue with the vehicle. But besides that, I've got no other problems, no other service issues. The only problem I had since I took delivery that I haven't gotten fixed is my driver's side speaker at the top sounds like it was blown out or overmodulated, or just it's broken, like things sound muffled. I noticed the issue the day I took the car home from the service center for delivery, but with a new baby and there's just so much going on, I just never got a service ticket created, and then now I'm kind of stuck where Tesla won't fix it because it's been too long and I don't want to jump through the hassle. So that's been like the only persistent issue, which I think has been more of a common issue than isolated. I think I've read, especially around 2022, that was a more common issue. So that's been an issue from my vehicle. But besides that, I've had no other issues with the car. No real service costs, no accidents, no maintenance, just the tire. And yeah, it's been, relatively inexpensive to operate, just charging costs and insurance, which I think my insurance for that vehicle is like $150 a month or something like that. So very, low operating costs as you'd expect from an EV. I've also enjoyed, during my ownership experience, to learn a couple of interesting sort of exclusive hidden features here with Model Y. For example, with some of the new Model Ys, the standard range models, you can actually pay about $1,000 to unlock more range. That is super cool. Also, like I mentioned before, I was disappointed I didn't get the performance version of the Model Y, but the long range version does have an acceleration boost you can get that'll actually unlock more power and give you a better 0 to 60 time. That's super cool. There also is a 7 seat configuration of the Model Y. That's not an option on Model 3. So if you do want a little bit more seat capability, that is there. And then also, if you didn't know, the rear middle seat of Model Y actually does have a headrest that pops up. I didn't know this for like 2 years until someone pointed it out, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know that existed. So if you're a Model Y owner and you didn't know, you're welcome. There is a middle headrest there in that seat back there. Besides that, there's all the other little Easter eggs that are built in all the Teslas, but those are a few that are Model Y exclusive. Oh, also, I should say trunk height. You can actually adjust that on the Model Y. If you open your trunk to your desired height and you press and hold the button, it'll actually memorize that height. It's not GPS based like Model X, so it's only going to go to that height no matter where you are. But if for whatever reason the default is too high, you can actually set that and it'll memorize it on Model Y as well, which is kind of cool. I should also mention as well that a lot has changed with the Model Y since I got my version back in 2022. Obviously, Tesla changed over to the Ryzen chip. There's a hardware 4 camera system there now. There's a parcel shelf. That sounds like a little like nothing burger, but it is kind of cool that it is there. I did not get that with my Model Y, which is kind of disappointing. And then also Tesla has changed the interior to extend either the wood trim, I believe, over to the door panes. That is not on my Model Y, which is another change they made. But overall, they made some small adjustments to range and to the glass and efficiency and stuff like that. And then obviously prices since I've got my Model Y have come down considerably along with discounts and incentives and stuff like that. So like I mentioned, there's really never been a better time to buy the Model Y. So now sort of looking back about 3 years into my ownership journey, there's a lot I love about the Model Y. I think that it's a fantastic vehicle. It's been amazing to see the consistent software updates. I've loved getting more features. And I especially love that despite not having that faster, newer processor, I love that I can still get all of the really cool full self-driving features on my 3-year-old Tesla, and I can just subscribe and get them whenever I want. That has been really, really great. And again, I think what the Model Y really delivers is that trifecta of range, performance as sort of one category, technology, and also price being the third. It's a fantastic vehicle. Obviously, a lot is changing with Model Y Juniper. There's going to be a big refresh coming soon, which I really do think is needed, especially right now. I think the one criticism I have about the Model Y, which I've mentioned before, is the design is starting to sort of show its age a bit, especially compared to the Model 3 and other EVs on the market. I think the Model Y Juniper is going to be a very welcomed addition to see, and I can't wait to see that car sell like hotcakes, which I have no doubt it will. But I think sort of overall reflecting on my ownership journey, Model Y has been an incredible vehicle. And what I've learned over the last 3 years is that Tesla knows how to make a really good car. And I know why this car is so loved around the world, so universally praised, and why it's the best-selling car. There's so much to offer there, so much you're getting. And if you've sort of been on the fence about the Model Y, wondering, should I make the decision? Should I take the plunge? Should I not? Get the Model Y. You will love it. But just get the performance version and don't have the regret that I do. Also want to give a huge thanks to Mini REVs for supporting the channel. They're the makers of these super amazing, high quality, and just crazy accurate mini EV models here that are just fantastic. They've got Model S, Model X, Model Y, and of course, they've got my beloved Cybertruck here. I've got this matte black option that looks really cool. You can pick up some accessories with this thing. Anyone will enjoy it, whether you're 3 years old, 30 years old, 100 years old. If you love Teslas, you are going to enjoy the build quality, the precision, and just the fun over geeking out over little Tesla models that are really accurate, really well made, and just a cool addition to your desk, your shelf, your locker, if you're in school, wherever you are, whatever stage in life. If you're a Tesla fan, you are going to love this. If you want to check out all that Mini REVs has to offer, they've got an incredible collection at a really great price. Hit the link down below to learn more and check it out for yourself today. I also want to give a big thanks to another supporter of the channel, and that is the Terry app for the iPhone and also the Apple Watch. Terry does a fantastic job of making it super easy to control your Tesla. All of your most needed controls are consolidated in one page. Super easy to use. You've got a fantastic full-fledged companion Apple Watch app that lets you drive your Tesla just with the watch, and of course gives you full control over your vehicle. There's full built-in Siri shortcut support, even the ability to create a custom light show for your Tesla from right within the app. I'm a big fan of the Terry app. I love it. Use it to control all my Teslas. If you want to check it out and get a special discount code, link is down below for that as well. And if you made it to the very end of the video and want a free way to win some Amazon money, all you've got to do as always is 3 simple things. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, Also, by the way, thank you so much. We've got over 50,000 of you now, so thank you so much for your support. And just drop a comment down below and just put in the comment your least favorite Tesla feature. Is there something your Tesla has that you don't like? If you don't have a Tesla, is there something holding you back? Drop a comment down below and let me know. As always, I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being awesome. Appreciate you all. I am Robert Rosenfeld, and I'll see you all in the next one.